Animal Crossing New Horizons is Nintendo's cozy, carefree social sim set on a deserted island. Fuzzy Friends and Furniture is the name of the game, and Elijah Wood loves it. As do several other people too, because it's sold more than 40 million copies since launch, making it one of Nintendo's best-selling games ever. I contribute its success to the fact that New Horizons is the first full-fledged home console Animal Crossing title since Let's Go to the City released on Wii in 2008. But also, thanks to the versatility of the Switch, it has the portability of its predecessor New Leaf. And let's face it, Animal Crossing is a perfect handheld game. Couple this with the fact that the game released around about the same time as a new COVID was coming out, and there was a lot of it about, so everyone was staying indoors, and New Horizons became the perfect distraction for many people, as well as a handy way to interact with others during long periods of isolation, which was nice. The other factor for Animal Crossing New Horizons' success, and this is probably the main one, is the fact that it's just a wonderful game. There is a wee bit of griping to be had, mainly about updates. Where are the updates? When are we getting more updates? Why aren't Nintendo doing any more updates? And I think in the beginning, a lot of that was exacerbated by the fact that due to lockdown, people were playing it a lot more intensely than they might have previous Animal Crossing titles, and so were hitting the boundaries of what the game had to offer much sooner than expected. And perhaps for the same reason, Nintendo were unable to roll out additional content fast enough. But let's put all of that to one side for now, because mostly, I think everyone was in love with New Horizons in 2020. And so it remains in 2023. Animal Crossing New Horizons is an endearing and delightful game. It's a mellow, easygoing gameplay experience with no difficulty or distress, except you can occasionally be murdered by a scorpion or a spider or a vicious swarm of wasps. But other than that, it's just all your favourite Animal Crossing pastimes. Fishing and bug catching, shopping and home improvement, picking up shells, banging on rocks with shovels, chatting with your fuzzy oddball neighbours, and all the other fun diversions we've come to enjoy from the series. And now, for the first time, all in beautiful HD. Animal Crossing is a joy to behold on Switch. Like Breath of the Wild, it's a great testament to Nintendo's ability to make something very visually appealing, just with great art direction. And it still looks good even by today's next-gen standards. But it's probably most apparent in the museum. The aquarium and Bugarium are gorgeously depicted, as are the fossil and art exhibitions. It really is a joy to explore, admire your latest donations, or just let the tranquility of the space wash over you. Oh, no, but actually the increase in fidelity is most appreciable in the beans on the paws of the various fuzzy friends. And it's not just the visuals, the music is liquid happiness for your ears. More upbeat than previous scores, there's still a song for every hour of the day, and it's just bopping around the clock. I think 2 PM is my favourite. Correction, my favourite song is actually the music that plays during a ceremony. Now, I don't cry easy, dear viewer. I scarcely shed a tear when my family burned down on the day no one showed up to my birthday party. But if you gather all my animal neighbours around to celebrate a new bridge and that song plays, well, I might start to get a bit misty, I'll tell you. Meanwhile, other cool new stuff in New Horizons. Great character customization, 8-player local co-op, autosave, sorry Mr. Rossetti, move your house to a different location, choose the location of your villagers' houses, pick up and put down trees, easier interior design like moving furniture half spaces, being able to access your storage from outside without having to return to your house, the ability to jump over gaps and small streams. I mean, some of this stuff seems baffling that it wasn't there before. It reminds me of when Pokemon XY released and fans were excited about diagonal movement. But there was also some much bigger stuff that got added, like placing furniture outside. This is a literal game changer. I spent so much time doing this, I can't remember what I spent all my time doing in previous Animal Crossing titles before this. Fishing, probably. They also added crafting and cooking. There are now hundreds of recipes to find, and learning them allows you to build new furniture, tools, objects, and cook tasty dishes. But most awesomely of all, they added landscaping. Don a hard hat and terraform your island however you wish. Add rivers, waterfalls and ponds, raise up plateaus and lay down paths. Whatever you like. Make a water world or a desert island, or might I suggest the very popular unnavigable labyrinth. But whatever your dream of the perfect island may be, make sure you set aside a couple of months to make it happen, as landscaping isn't the most fluid of processes. Like most actions in Animal Crossing, everything must be done one tile at a time. It's a great advancement for the series, but there's still room for improvement. And you could say that applies to the game as a whole. But hold on though, because for all of New Horizons' enhancements, and despite some of its flaws, it still retained that all-important charm and character of the series. And it even elevates that warm fuzzy feeling you get from playing in Animal Crossing to new levels of warm fuzziness. And I think this is the real reason it captured so much attention. The tone and the ambience of New Horizons is so absorbing. The wind in the trees and the tide lapping at the beach. Islands can at times feel vibrant and alive with activity, while other times feeling solitary and remote, still harking back to the original creator Katsuya Iguchi's original intention of making a game that recreated the feeling of being alone in a new town, away from friends and family. And there's not really a game out there that can match the levels of guilt that Animal Crossing's villagers can elicit from you if you don't speak to them for more than a couple of days. Animal Crossing's real-time clock and calendar are still as captivating as ever, and there's still something almost magical when by sheer coincidence the weather in the game matches the weather outside your window in real life. It's just great how it feels like this little world that you can carry around with you. And if one of the greatest aspects of video games is escapism, then Animal Crossing New Horizons might just be one of the greatest video games. It's virtual tourism at its finest, and that makes it a very hard game to walk away from. Until of course Nintendo says enough, and they abandon you and let all your islands decay like disused Olympic venues in impoverished countries. Or you could just keep playing. There just won't be any more updates because Nintendo have got to move on to other stuff, Splatoon and that. So what's next for Animal Crossing? Well, aside from the obvious improvements to the UX, like not holding aloft a tool every time you want to use it, and not having to wade through pages of the same repeated waffle to perform simple recurring actions, crafting in multiples, streamlined online multiplayer, easier exterior decorating, and all the rest, hopefully that's all low-hanging fruit for the developers of the next Animal Crossing, but where could they take it to next? That's an easier question to answer than where does Smash Bros. Go next. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gave us everything and more, except trophies. So the only thing Smash Bros. Can do now, it seems, is scale it back, which sounds like a bad thing. Animal Crossing New Horizons doesn't share the same problem. While it eventually boasted plenty of new features, it still left many players wanting more. We didn't see our favourite pelicans at the post office, nor our awkward axolotl in the club, that snooty giraffe, the police station, and a whole bunch of other content we might have expected. Now, I appreciate the developers might not want to give us everything this time and then have to potentially shrink it down for the next version like Smash Bros. Might end up doing, but a game like Animal Crossing can sort of live or die by the amount of content there is within it. I almost find myself in a similar frame of mind with New Horizons as I do with Mario Kart 8. I'd rather they built upon this version instead of making another. So I was delighted when it was announced Mario Kart 8 would be given a new lease of life with 48 more courses to be added. It seems a shame they couldn't have left New Horizons open-ended too. Now, game as service feels like a bit of a dirty word these days, but I can't think of a much better candidate for a game that would benefit from indefinite updates and add-ons than Animal Crossing. And I don't just mean extra furniture sets or a new hat shop, as nice as that sounds, but what would be preferable is some scripted content. Animal Crossing is very player-led, the activity in the game for the most part driven by the player. And while Animal Crossing players are very good at entertaining themselves, I feel it would be great to get some more purposeful scenarios in there. I really love the beginning of New Horizons, when you start off in a tent and you have a very clear overarching objective to work towards. Build up your island and get KK Slider to show up and play his hits. Now, there are many things you need to do in order to fulfill that objective, and how quickly and efficiently you go about it is up to you, but it's nice to have that goal in the background. They introduced a similar scenario with the update that tasked you with finding Brewster and convincing him to open up a coffee shop in the museum. But by the time this task was added to the game, most players had already achieved the necessary requirements for unlocking Brewster anyway, so it was more or less just a case of walking up to him and asking him when he can move in. Other characters with small businesses didn't even get that much. They were all just dumped on Halves Island, where you merely had to pony up the bells to unlock them, which again for most players at that stage is just a minor inconvenience. It would have been nice if they'd each got their own little story and set of objectives to unlock and acquire, and with their own proper establishment for your island. As such, it didn't really feel as fulfilling as the earlier deeds on the island. What else? Furniture and items could be more interactive. Who wouldn't want to see their villagers swinging on the swing bench or riding a Ferris wheel or chilling in the hot springs? Look at how mad people go about Timmy carrying around his little flag. I really like the Mystery Islands, I think they have so much potential. And I like the Paradise Island theme in general, while it lasted, I mean. It felt like the tent sleeping pole vaulting phase was too brief, and after extended play it stops feeling like a deserted island and starts feeling like regular Animal Crossing. But I feel they could do so much more with these islands. You could have old ruins, abandoned gold mines, exotic plants and fruits, dinosaur villages. Could be a laugh. But it's damn near futile trying to guess what Nintendo might do next, so it's best just to wait and see. But those are some of the things I'd like to see from a new Animal Crossing. What about ye? Let me know what you'd like to see in the next Animal Crossing. And remember, bad YouTube videos are just videos that are bad. Like and subscribe.